Hello everyone, this is Diamond Sodi from Canwings Consultants Private Limited and welcome to yet another episode of our YouTube sessions. आज मैं आपसे बात करूंगी दोबारा से 491 वीज़ा के रिलेटेड. The reason why I think it's important to continue talking about 491 visa is because we've been getting a lot of queries and I still kind of feel that there are lots of areas where people are very confused and they need a greater clarification. So सबसे पहले मैं आपको ये बताना चाहती हूँ कि the reason why or let's say the benefit of choosing an experienced consultant over doing the application on your own. Now we get queries from a lot of clients who've probably either done it on their own or who engage some other consultant and they are through with the first step, they're stuck with the rest of the steps. So now I'll tell you quickly, why you should be choosing an experienced consultant and how it can be beneficial. So first of all, in terms of your nominated occupation. A lot of times what happens is that a person thinks that his profile is in line with a certain occupation. Let's go with an occupation X, and probably that's the only occupation he or she can go with. We as consultants know that a lot of times you can probably nominate an occupation which is also closely related to your profile. So there's a concept of closely related occupation. So it so happens that a person can be eligible across maybe one, two, or even three occupations. So when we assess your profile, we look at the end result. We probably have a better idea of the occupation you should be nominating, which can get you a nomination faster and probably the visa grant letter faster. So yes, that is one thing where an experienced consultant can definitely help you look at help you explore the other occupations which you can potentially nominate in place of the one that you probably have in mind. And let me also tell you that given the complexity of assessments these days, even deciding on an occupation to nominate for yourself is a huge challenge. It is not something as simple. We need to look into your tasks, we need to look into a lot of other things, and for the assessment bodies, the internal criteria keeps on evolving with time. And a lot of times people come to us and say, a friend of ours got a positive assessment for this occupation, so we kind of just did everything the way our friend had done, but we got a negative assessment. Now probably they didn't realize that when the friend got the assessment done, it was way back, and over the years the internal assessment criteria had changed. So this is one aspect where I think the migration agents play a very critical role, and you should go with a consultant who has a lot of experience in Australian immigration. Now the next area where a migration agent's role comes is in terms of 491 or the nominations basically. Now I get questions from clients who are looking at applying for 491 visa, and they ask that we've already launched our EOI. Now when will we get an invitation? Now it's a very sad situation for me to see them in, because it's not that the nomination is going to fall into your lap. You have to proactively apply for a nomination. And then some other people ask that we need a job letter in order to get nominated. That again is so not true. Yeah, there could be a couple of states or one state that may be asking for a job letter, but that is very, very temporary. It's fairly possible that in a couple of months time the same state comes up and offers you nominations without any job letter, and those states have been giving nominations without any job offers in the past as well. So we can kind of map up things for you better because we have a more comprehensive view of how things had been with those states and how they're probably going to be in times to come. And another thing that people get misled with is they probably think, when they're starting the process, they probably look at the current states that have a certain occupation in demand. And if the occupation is not on the state occupation list at that time, they probably think that occupation is not eligible or there's no future with going with that occupation. Please let me clarify here. As long as your occupation is available on the MLTSSL, on the STSOL, or on the ROL, irrespective of the fact whether your occupation is at that point of time available for nomination in any state or not, you are good to go. You should go ahead and get your assessment done, because today or tomorrow your occupation is bound to become available for nomination, and that is the time when you can go ahead and get your nomination approved. Now the third and very important aspect again is that a lot of times people think that once we get an invitation to apply for a visa, All we have to do is just fill up a few application forms, pay the fee, and we are done. We're good to go. The DHA application process is very simple. So let me tell you here that again, the DHA has its own criteria and additional requirements which you have to live up to in order to get a visa grant letter. Trust me, they are not going to take you on face value, even if you have, of course, but of course you would have a positive assessment if you've reached that far. So if you just walk up to them and say, hey, I've got a positive skills assessment from this body, so they've already declared my experience to be valid and at the skill level. So go ahead and, just give me points for it. They might say, no, though you have a positive skills assessment letter, we at our level feel that probably, you needed to support your application with some additional documentation, some additional evidence, which you might not have submitted at the time of your skills assessment, and the application can be refused. So this is something very important. I know it sounds a little scary, but trust me, it happens. Therefore, it is very, very important that when you lodge your application at the time of DHA, you again make sure that the documentation you are submitting to the immigration department meets the requirement, and it is very, very exhaustive, so that they do not reject your application for want of information. So those are the things which can be very challenging. And this is where, I don't recommend that you go in for a DIY, do it yourself thing. Also, because Australian immigration is very expensive, a lot of fees involved in the immigration process. We definitely don't want you to waste that fee. We don't want you to waste your time. We do not want you to be subject to any kind of bans just because you're not able to make the immigration department have your employment look genuine. So I strongly recommend that please use the services of a migration agent, because there are a lot of areas which a migration agent can walk you through simply because of the experience they've had in the number of cases they're dealing, and because of the I would say the variety of cases they've been dealing with. So with that, I'd like to just end it here, keep it really, really short. I love getting questions from you, and I'm more than happy to answer the questions. Please feel free to email us on canwings@gmail.com. That is CAANWYNGS@gmail.com, or just give us a call on 78498. Please send us your resumes, send us your questions, send us any doubts that you may have, whether you are a client, whether you are not a client, whether you want to be a client. We are happy to answer questions for everyone and help everyone. So with this, I would like to end the video here, and once again, please stay safe, take care of yourselves, and follow the lockdown guidelines. Until next time, bye-bye.